Welcome to Forensic Friday.
Where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all.
Girl,
You the day.
Gray threw me a curveball.
That's what
Everyone
they
in the
do.
house was like, "Is that Grace?" I
I
was like,
know.
"Yeah." They were like, "But she's a perfect baby." I'm like, "Yeah,
She's been feeling herself lately, definitely finding her voice.
she has a voice."
Yes.
She was big mad. I was doing the lunges, the
Oh,
squats,
yeah.
and it helps every time. But then the second I put her down to sleep, nope,
No, she's just so alert. She wants to be a part of every party.
everything.
So I got to thinking in the spirit of Crime Con and seeing Ice-T,
I know, I'm so excited.
which I am so excited about. Nat and I got tickets to the special event with the
We
SVU
did.
crowd. I'm
Yes,
very
we did.
excited. We're
No,
still
it's
going
gonna
to meet
be.
him. We didn't sign up for the meet and greet, but we're gonna just find him
We're just gonna figure it out.
and we're gonna make it weird and it's gonna be fine. We're gonna
It's gonna
get
be
that
great.
picture. We are getting that picture. Oh, if we can get him in an allegedly hat. Oh my God.
He's
Mission.
someone I'd give one to for free.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
Absolutely. Yes. So in the spirit of that, I was thinking, what would be a cool case to drop around the time we meet Sir Ice T? And I thought, how about Tupac and Biggie?
ooh,
Tupac and Big, and hip hop
do you
just
think
makes me
Tupac's
so
still alive?
happy. No, I'm
Okay,
sorry to say, I do not think he's still alive.
you don't believe the
Spoiler
conspiracy
alert.
theories?
No, I don't.
Okay,
But did you know that he and Jada Pinkett Smith were real hot and heavy, like all when she was growing up?
no,
They went to the same performing arts school.
cute.
But one of the things that's interesting that I
That
didn't
Will
know about
Smith's
them,
daughter.
who?
Who was
What'd you
that?
just say?
No.
You don't know who Jada Pinkett Smith is?
Well, I'm gonna look her up now.
Oh my gosh, Will Smith's wife.
Oh, well, I
Remember
understand.
when he smacked Chris Rock for making fun of her hair?
Oh, they were. So she dated him?
She dated Tupac. They like grew up together.
Oh, she dated Tupac or Ice-T?
No, not Ice-T, Tupac.
Oh, I did not know that.
Tupac. I think she was too young. I mean, she could have dated Ice-T, but probably not.
Hmm.
So Ice-T's like 80s West Coast.
But yes, I do remember that slap, and Will Smith is like banned from everything. Anyway,
The slap heard around the world. That was so I thought it was a skit until it wasn't.
I
I
just
was
don't,
like, this can't be real.
I can't believe he got so angry.
I know that's a whole lot. We should do an episode on that.
Anger management, Will Smith.
Anger. Well, and then did you watch Chris Rock's response, his comedy special?
No.
Oh, it was real good.
What was
Real good.
it?
I think it was on Netflix, but he like talked about what that was like for him.
What'd he say?
I don't remember, but it was good.
Okay.
It was real good. So, okay. East Coast, West Coast rivalry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Ice-T's West Coast, Snoop Dogg West Coast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go back kind of to the beginning.
Okay.
Okay. So Tupac Amaru Shakur was born in 1971 in East Harlem. He was raised by Afeni Shakur, a prominent Black Panther
Mm-hmm.
who was pregnant with him while defending herself in the Panther 21 trial, which I'll get into a little bit of that in a bit. His biological father, Billy Garland, was also a Panther, but mostly absent from his life. So he grew up mostly with a single mom. He grew up around poverty, systemic oppression, revolutionary politics, and he went to Baltimore School for the Arts, showing
Hmm.
early promise in acting, poetry, and rap. So he had kind of this art school education. That's where he met Jada Pinkett Smith.
Okay.
So his early work, his music was about trying to give a voice to the voiceless. And one of the albums he had that really kind of got a lot of attention was All Eyes on Me. And one of the quotes that I was able to find is he said, "I'm not saying I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will."
Hmm.
So Tupac's whole thing was just trying to get people to pay attention and
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was born in 71. Biggie was born in 72 in Brooklyn to Voletta Wallace, a Jamaican born school teacher. He was raised in Bed-Stuy, surrounded by the crack epidemic, East Coast, right? He dropped out of school at the age of 17 and began selling drugs. He was signed by Diddy in 94 and released the album Ready to Die.
It's
He was
unfortunate that he's
known,
signed by Diddy.
yeah, I know. I have a whole opinion about him. I mean, I've had an opinion about him for a long time, but
Yeah.
this didn't help.
No.
Um, so Biggie was known for kind of his laid back flow. He was really a storyteller in his lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And a quote of his is, "We can't change the world unless we change ourselves."
Hmm.
So as they kind of were growing up, Tupac ends up getting involved in the mob Peru Bloods through Death Row Records on the West Coast with Suge Knight.
Okay.
Now, Suge Knight is a garbage human. He's in prison. I mean, he's really not a good human. He can't people for sure. Totally criminally oriented, very violent. That's who Tupac signed with. He would wear red, so he was flying colors. He was surrounded by blood affiliated security. And there was an issue that happened at the MGM Grand, and it was an assault on Orlando Anderson. So, like, Tupac's people were involved in this. And what they think is that that's what led to Tupac's murder, that it was a gang retaliation. Okay. So,
Huh.
uh huh.
Huh.
He had his own share of legal troubles,
Okay.
assault and battery cases, shooting at an off duty police officer. Those charges were dropped. In 1995, he had a sexual abuse conviction and he served time at Clinton Correctional. And he had multiple lawsuits and violent encounters. So that's Tupac's history leading
Got
up
it.
to his death. Okay. Biggie was not technically gang affiliated, but he had what they call street proximity. So he was connected with the Brooklyn Crip affiliations. Uh huh.
Dang.
Right. And he was a member of the Junior Mafia, a rap collective with ties to the streets. So he tried to stay away from the East West feud publicly, but he was kind of implicated by association, right? So the people that he hung out with were
Hmm.
East Coast Crips.
Hmm.
His criminal history, he was dealing crack cocaine as a teenager.
Sad.
He was arrested for assault at one point, and then he really tried to kind of distance himself from criminal activity once his career started kind of ramping up.
Okay.
Okay. So the order of events. Okay. Tupac was shot in Las Vegas on September 7th, 1996, after attending a Mike Tyson fight. He was actually riding with Suge Knight, and six shots were fired into the car in a drive-by shooting.
Crazy.
Hmm. Hours earlier, Tupac and Mob Peru affiliates had assaulted Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, a Crip. I didn't know he didn't die at the scene,
I
actually.
didn't either, actually. So he was
Six
in the
days.
hospital probably for 6 days and died from his
Yes.
injuries. Got it.
Yes.
That makes sense.
No. And he didn't speak after like, he was still conscious at the scene, but I don't believe he was conscious after that. So he
Okay.
died on September 13th, 96.
Okay.
And the shooting happened at a stoplight after a Mike Tyson boxing match.
Right.
Okay. Biggie was shot on March 9th, 1997, after leaving a Vibe magazine party. 4 bullets were fired into his SUV during a drive-by, and he died instantly at age 24.
You know what's super sad about like, and I know you said
Mm.
Biggie wasn't technically involved in a gang,
Yeah.
but back when we worked in like drug court and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
when I would run some of the SA groups, I worked with a lot of, and as you did too, I worked with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of gang individuals, and I remember talking to one of them in an individual session, and they said they're like, they were like 28 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I never thought I'd live past 24.
Yeah, they don't see themselves living a long time.
No, which is just wild to me,
Mm. And
you know?
especially at this time. So we've seen rap feuds in our day, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
But they have not gotten to this level. This was a different level. It was
yeah,
the peak of the 90s gang rivalries.
yeah.
I did a presentation one time in school actually on Cabrini Green in Chicago and
Uh-huh.
what was happening in the 90s, and it was a war zone. It was a literal
Yeah,
war zone. It was
yeah,
crazy. And it was all gang affiliation stuff,
yeah.
you
Sad.
know? But I liked both of their music, both of them.
Yeah.
One of the things that's interesting is there were no arrests in either case.
Okay.
There were so many theories, police corruption, conspiracy theories, people thinking Tupac was still alive. And the media just took the East West feud up to like a fever pitch at
Okay.
that point, which made the investigation complicated. The other
Hmm.
thing is, snitches get stitches, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Nobody was talking. Nobody.
Hmm.
The other thing that's kind of interesting is there were LAPD officers who were involved in the shooting of Biggie in the investigation
Hmm.
who had ties to Suge Knight and Death Row. So some of the allegations are that they tampered with evidence, intimidated witnesses, and obstructed justice.
Hmm.
So Biggie's family sued the LAPD in several wrongful death lawsuits. They just didn't hold up. So one was like a mistrial and one was dismissed, I believe,
Okay.
you know?
Hmm.
So when
Hmm.
we get into a little bit more of the psychology, Nat, and then I have an update on the cases too, that's pretty interesting. When you think about Tupac, okay, his father was absent. He was known for his trauma, paranoia, really kind of a revolutionary, but also kind of a gangster,
Hmm.
and talked about death incessantly in his lyrics. So they talked about how he felt kind of hunted, like he knew he was a bit of a target, but also that he felt exalted,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So, what's your question? Like,
So my question is, what do you think was going on inside of him as his fame was growing,
Mhm.
knowing there was this target on his back and he's both protected by the gang and exposed by the gang stuff?
Well,
What do
I
you think was
mean,
going on in his internal life?
well, if I were Tupac, I would be like, the target's bigger.
Mm,
Now he's more seen as his fame got, as he got more famous. So now he's just more exposed, right?
mm-hmm,
Especially
mm-hmm,
back then, like people got were I shouldn't say they got like guns into places like that, but people could get into shows, get into rap battle or not rap battles, but rap shows and have guns, have knives, have weapons
mm-hmm.
pretty often. And so if I were him, I would feel more of a target.
Oh yeah. Well, and it was a weird time because we haven't had a gang related incident like this out in the open in a long time. So this happens in gang infiltrated neighborhoods still all the time,
Right. Right.
and in some cities it's still pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I just read the other day about an issue in Detroit. There were a bunch of people at a pool party, and somebody showed up and a bunch of people died, including some little kids.
Oh gosh.
And it was a gang affiliated fight that broke out and then got huge, you know?
Hmm. Well,
But
Detroit, yeah, that makes sense.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think it's just interesting how the very thing that he leaned into to try to talk about the system being a problem is
Hmm.
the thing that ultimately kind of got him killed,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
And people loved him. They still love him. They
Oh
revere
yeah.
him. And the thing about Jada Pinkett Smith that's interesting, the reason I brought that up is after the slap heard around the world, people did kind of talk about the fact that they suspect she never got over Tupac
Mm.
because they were kind of friends, but kind of loved each other. And then she ended up with Will Smith. And I'd have to look at when they got together, but it was like not too long after or before Tupac died.
Hmm.
I can look it up. So Tupac died in 96. And actually, some people thought that they were like engaged. 94. So they started dating in 95.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Uh-huh. So there was a lot to this,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So then with Biggie's psychology, here's what I was able to
Mm.
find out. Little more emotionally reserved. So Tupac was really emotional. He
Yeah.
had his feelings. He was an emotional performer. He could be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Biggie was a little more reserved, pretty strategic,
Yeah.
really wanted peace and financial success. He was not someone who was trying to like die for a gang cause.
Right.
And he was very concerned about his safety
Mm.
after Tupac died. So Biggie was very
Uh,
aware that he was a target.
okay.
Yeah. The people who carried out these murders were likely driven by kind of this street level retaliation
Yeah.
and then trying to represent their gang right in this East Coast, West Coast thing.
It's just crazy that we still have no clue who did it.
Yeah. Well, I have an update on that.
Mm.
I have an update on that. Let me find it in my thing here.
Sorry. Do you have anything else on Biggie?
Let me look at what I have. Yes, I do. So I decided to consult our two of our favorite rappers currently,
Okay. Okay.
um, to find out what do they think, right?
Perfect.
So Eminem and 50 Cent are two of my faves, right?
Uh-huh.
So Eminem's take on these two is very interesting.
Uh-huh.
Eminem deeply connected with Tupac's emotional transparency and activism.
Yes.
So Eminem was a big, 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 big fan.
Yeah.
He narrated a letter basically to his mother,
Okay.
thanking her for Tupac's legacy.
Wow.
And he also loved Biggie's lyrics. So he loved Tupac for kind of how deep Tupac was. He loved Biggie because of his lyrics. So he
Yeah.
said, Tupac made you feel it, Biggie made you rewind it. That's what
Love
Eminem said
that.
about the
Yeah.
two, right?
I love Eminem.
I do too. I mean, he just gets better and better,
He
in my
does.
opinion.
He's like aging like fine wine.
He really is. He really is.
No,
I
he
gotta say,
is. He's a very good looking man.
I'm proud of him. I'm just proud
Mhm.
of him. He does not care at all if I'm proud of him, but I care. I'm very proud of him. So 50 Cent respected Tupac's power, but aligned more with Biggie's survival. The way that Biggie tried to survive and had that mindset.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep. And 50 Cent saw,
50 Cent is more like Biggie, and I feel like Eminem's more like Tupac.
yep. So one of the things that 50 Cent said about Tupac is Pac wore his heart on his sleeve. I'm
Hmm.
not doing that. That gets you killed.
Yeah.
But you can tell they both had a real lasting influence.
Hmm.
So one thing that really bothers me, and I want to know your thoughts when I read
Hmm.
this to you. Remember when I talked about when we did the Diddy episode, how
Yeah.
annoyed I was by his VMA performance?
Yes.
Okay, I dug into it because I was like, what year was that? I don't even know. All I
Hmm.
know is I hated it, right?
Right.
Okay. So it was in 99.
Okay.
So I was about 15.
Okay.
And basically, Tupac's mom and Biggie's mom appeared together on stage. And this was September 9th of 99. So Will Smith actually introduced the two on
Okay.
stage, the two moms. They came out, they hugged, and they called for unity. And
Hmm.
then P. Diddy comes out and performs I'll Be Missing You, a tribute to Biggie. No, I
Hmm.
know, I have feelings about this. The audience stood in silence, and basically
Wasn't
people
that
were
an
kind of,
Aaliyah song?
huh?
Is I'll Be Missing You by Aaliyah?
Uh, think so. Let me look it up.
Oh, Puff Daddy.
Yeah, he put it together and he can't rap
Oh,
for shit.
bummer. Because there's
Yeah,
another
but he
song that Aaliyah sang that because she died too, like right around that same time. And then a lot of like rap artists got together and did a whole thing with one of Aaliyah's songs for all of them. Anyway, continue.
yes. So I'll Be Missing You is Puff Daddy. At the time he was Puff Daddy, not P.
Right? Not,
Diddy.
not P. Diddy or
And
whatever.
singer Faith Evans and the R&B group 112. So they
Okay.
did this song, and I remember watching this and like everybody's wearing white and it's very ethereal and whatever. Knowing what we know now about Diddy and the fact that Diddy has been implicated in Tupac's death, he has not been charged.
Eminem says this in one of his songs.
Of course. Listen, Eminem and 50 Cent have P. Diddy's number. They've always had his number.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's not in any way any kind of rap god. Okay. He just had money, got an influence, started producing, whatever. But he's not these guys. They're not the same,
Hmm.
you know? But
Hmm.
because of his connection with the East Coast side of things,
Hmm.
Biggie's, or not Biggie's, I'm sorry, P. Diddy,
Diddy.
the kind of prevailing belief is that he, at a minimum, knows what happened and was
Oh, yeah.
involved in this. He was involved in Tupac's murder.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And so yeah, it's frustrating to me because you want to see justice. I want to see justice,
Hmm.
but with the police corruption, which I believe that happened, I believe that with the amount of money flowing through there, I absolutely believe
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah.
And then gang culture is nobody talks, so they couldn't get any leads, right?
Yeah.
I can believe that it made it very, very difficult for them to do a meaningful investigation,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, sure.
So before we get into the heart piece, I want to know what you knew about this at the time, because you're a couple years younger than me.
Yeah.
And were you into hip hop at that time? Because I was like, I was into it. Nobody understood it, but I was
I
into it.
I was, but I wasn't. I didn't listen to a ton of Tupac.
Yeah.
So I knew who Tupac was, but I didn't like, I wasn't, I mean, I wasn't a fan. I was, you know what I mean? Like I was neutral to Tupac.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally.
but yeah, so to be honest, because I mean, I'm 4 years younger than you, I think.
Yep.
I didn't really know a ton of what was going on. I just knew Tupac had died and got shot and was probably
Mm-hmm.
gang related. That's really all I knew. It wasn't until more recently, actually, when you and I dove more into Eminem,
Mm,
that I was connecting dots with P. Diddy.
mm,
Well, not me. Eminem was helping me connect dots with P. Diddy and the potential involvement of
mm,
Tupac's murder and then all of that. So I didn't know too much, honestly, until recently,
Mm. Yeah,
you
it
know?
was definitely a big deal. And especially, at
Yeah.
that time, MTV was really coming into the forefront. So
Hmm.
if you watched MTV, which I did,
Oh, I watched it all the
so
time.
all the time, this was a big topic of conversation.
Yeah. I
And
watched
so,
music videos like consistently.
yeah. So as kind of a teenager, young teen going through this and watching all this, it did have an impact on me. And I remember thinking, well, this is wild and so removed from my experience of anything, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So here's where we're at in terms of evidence and suspects. Okay. So in 2008 and 2009 police interviews, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis alleged that Diddy paid $1 million to orchestrate the hit on Tupac and Suge Knight.
Dang.
Mhm. These remain uncorroborated allegations because the Las Vegas police never considered Diddy a suspect.
Hmm.
So, as far as the Las Vegas PD is concerned, they didn't think that Diddy or Davis were involved initially.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
In 2011, a journalist named Greg Kading wrote a book called Murder Rap, reiterating allegations involving Diddy, but based largely on testimonies from Davis and others. So it wasn't independently verified.
Hmm.
Chuck Phillips' 2008 reporting also implicated Diddy and others in an earlier 1994 assault, but those claims were based on forged documents and were retracted by the LA Times.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Uh-huh. There's just a lot of interesting secrecy and
Yeah.
so much money, Nat, just so much money
Yeah.
that
I
could have
mean,
been trading hands, you know?
I feel like with this whole Diddy, with his whole case, I'm learning more and more about how, and I've always known money talks, money moves things,
Mm,
but I'm learning more and more of how corrupt people can be and then how
hmm.
much money can keep people quiet. You know what I mean?
Yes. And with Diddy, I'm sorry, but where there's smoke, there's fire. Like
Oh
all
yeah.
of this is allegedly, but this is an awful lot of smoke.
Yeah. I think
Tupac's, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think Eminem always has it right with Diddy.
Hmm. I think so too. I think this Diddy stuff was not even a well-kept secret, to be honest. It just, everybody's hands were dirty. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like nobody wanted it to be found out because they all participated,
Yeah.
even if their participation was just being quiet.
Right. Right.
Tupac's own stepbrother, Shakur, expressed that Diddy's denial may not be entirely honest, suggesting the truth hasn't fully come out. Also, a former Bad Boy Records president, Kirk Burroughs, in a separate lawsuit, implied Diddy may have had a role in the murder, attributing it to jealousy. But again, the allegation went without legal backing.
Hmm.
Hmm. So the prosecution has at least put together enough to charge Davis.
Okay.
So Dwayne Keefe D. Davis was finally charged. The decision to exclude Diddy was reinforced following his separate legal troubles in New York. Because, he's in trouble anyway, Diddy,
Right, right.
right? Well, it's been reiterated that prosecutors are not going after Diddy for Tupac.
Okay.
They're dealing with him on this other side over here,
Right.
right? It's going to court again in like no time. I was going to find the court case date.
Oh, dang.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're circling back.
No, I know. And that is the thing that's kind of exciting about it because here we go. So basically, Dwayne Davis
Okay.
has been accused of being the shot caller and that he's the one who provided the gun. Not
Okay.
necessarily pulled the trigger, but provided the gun. He
Okay.
pled not guilty. His trial has been postponed multiple times. It's currently scheduled and set for February 9th, 2026.
Dwayne Davis. Okay.
That's
Well,
Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. He's the one who in 2009 was kind of, they were interviewing him and thinking maybe he was involved. So they
okay.
have filed charges. And he's filed some different appeals and stuff like that, but he will face a trial in February of 2026.
Wow.
Hmm.
They waited a long time for trial.
Yeah, I don't think he was charged like in 2009. I can look at when he was charged.
Okay. I was gonna say he's been in jail that long.
Mm-mm. They interviewed him back then.
I
Let's
mean, he's an
see.
older man now.
He was officially charged on September 29th, 2023.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But there's been suspicion around him for a very long time. Like, I mean, they
Right.
have police interviews going all the way back.
Okay.
Hmm. So then with Biggie, okay, to date, there have been no arrests or charges in Biggie's murder.
Hmm.
So that's been unsolved for almost 3 decades.
Sad.
Hmm. Now, what people have said, including retired detective Greg Kading with LAPD, was that the crime was solved but not prosecuted,
Hmm.
claiming that Suge Knight orchestrated the killing. Because, Suge Knight was in the car with Tupac and survived,
Right.
that
Right.
he orchestrated the killing via an intermediary, Wardell Pucci Faust, who died in 2003.
Why?
Um, what do you
Like
mean?
why is he suspected? They're saying so they're
They
saying the guy
believe
who was
they
with
believe Suge Knight orchestrated it
for
through this
Biggie.
other guy, for
Okay.
Biggie.
Okay.
But the guy who they suspect who did the killing
Uh-huh.
and was involved died in 2003. So they never prosecuted him.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they don't have any additional suspects. So like the LAPD kind of considers
I
it
got you.
done.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think they're in a hurry to go back into it because they didn't do a very good investigation.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
That makes sense.
So here's some heart stuff that I think is kind of cool. When you think about Tupac and his parents,
Hmm.
who were Black Panthers, right? Which is complicated. There's a lot of complicated stuff in all of that, right? I do think that he had a really important voice. It's unfortunate, but also understandable that he got involved in the gang lifestyle
Hmm.
because that I think is what felt like home. I think it offered protection. It represented the issues on the street that he was
Yeah.
rapping about,
Yeah.
right? Well, his mother founded the Tupac Amaru Shakur Foundation for Arts and Youth Justice. So she created, a whole kind of organization to help out youth.
Okay.
Biggie's mom created literacy initiatives
Mhm. That's
and the
awesome.
Christopher Wallace Memorial Foundation. Yep. So each mother kind of turned their grief into community uplift. And one of the
Mhm.
things that's sad, Garrett and I had a conversation about this one time because he grew up in the mountains, right?
Right. Right.
Like his elementary school stuff was like mountaineering and they had to sometimes not have recess because of mountain lions. Like he grew up
My
boonies.
God.
I grew up in suburban Chicago, but I
Hmm.
remember catching wind of things on the news, both in Chicago, but then even when we moved to Colorado, we'd go home every summer. And
Right.
there was so much violence during that time.
Mm.
in Chicago and then up into Detroit. And I had
Yeah.
some awareness of that area because my family. And I remember just having a sense that, like, if you see a pair of shoes, over a telephone wire or something, that's a thing, right?
Hmm.
Or if you see random shoes, like Garrett just laughs at me, but if I see a shoe in the road, I'm like, something bad happened.
Mm.
It could be a car accident, it could be anything, but I always
Right.
tell Garrett, I'm like, something bad happened.
Right.
There was kind of this sense of unease, never in my environment, but just in understanding that there are parts of the world where this is a normal thing, where you can't just walk down the street.
Yeah.
And I heard stories growing up from my parents who grew up, but my parents grew up kind of on literally on opposite sides of the tracks.
Right.
They really did. Like my mom grew up sort of on the wrong side, so to speak. And her parents, they worked very hard,
Hmm.
but they grew up in a pretty rough area. My dad's family did marginally better, but still in the same kind of area. It's a very high crime area still.
Hmm.
And we would go down there sometimes, and it's probably not unlike when you go to Detroit.
Hmm.
Like, do you ever you ever drive around and you're like, wow, this is just not like home.
Yeah. All the time.
And I'm comfortable because I know my people around there, but also I'm aware. Like,
Yeah.
this is not where I
Yeah.
grew up for
Oh, yeah.
sure.
No. Well, it's
Right?
interesting. I went to Detroit a couple years ago. I went to Michigan and we went to
Hmm.
Detroit for a day with my cousin and her mom. And we went downtown for brunch and they're trying really hard to
Hmm.
similar to all other cities, they're trying hard to like make it a good city and make it safer. But I remember when I was a kid, my grandma worked at Comerica Park
Mm,
and we would have to park in certain areas just because of safety concerns.
yeah.
And my grandmother had to, they had a certain parking spot for her 'cause she's obviously older and couldn't walk all that far by herself like that. So, I mean, back then it was really bad. They're trying really hard now, but it's, still Detroit,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah. Well, and they took down Cabrini,
Hmm.
and they're trying to, and by the way, this is very controversial
Yeah.
in Chicago because a lot of times, we think we're doing great things when we go in there and we take down the high rises and
Hmm.
we're trying to make it safe or whatever, but that's also like so many people's lives were there. So when you
Hmm.
wipe that out,
Hmm.
you're hoping it's safer. It looked insane. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of Cabrini, but
Mm-mm.
it was like there would be open breezeways with like chain link fencing and stuff. I mean, it's wild. It's wild that human beings live there, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
violence was nuts.
Yeah.
The movie Hardball gets at
Okay.
that.
Okay.
If you ever watch Hardball, it's really sad. It's about a youth baseball team,
Mm,
and it has the little boys all growing up in Cabrini and playing baseball, and it's hard.
I probably won't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. The kids are cute and hilarious, but I mean, it was filmed, like you can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just interesting because I think I've been really fortunate, and I never know why we grow up where we grow up, you know?
Yeah.
But that period of our history is it's interesting. It was interesting
Right.
to grow up like we did, but listen to these kind of lyrics. And I remember just
Yeah.
like singing along and rapping along and being like, I have no idea what this is like. But then also having some context from things my parents had shared with me,
Right.
very different. And
Hmm.
my dad commuted into Detroit for his first job. So I mean, he
Wow.
went into downtown Detroit, and
Yeah.
you know, it's just interesting,
Yeah.
you know?
It's a different world than what I've known. I mean, I grew up in the mountains, so,
Oh yeah.
you know, I never really knew what city life was. I didn't know there were like different school districts until I moved to Colorado Springs for a short period of time. And I was like, there isn't just one school for everybody.
Mm-mm.
So that's how Summit County was.
No.
So, I mean, I didn't know what a Louis Vuitton bag was until I moved. I didn't
Mm,
know a lot of city type things. Just a
mm.
different lifestyle. I will say where I want to, I mean, what I want not the last thing I want to say, but one of the things I want to just say is this just continues to confirm that Diddy sucks.
Well, for sure. I mean, Diddy, I don't want to say he's the root of all evil. I'm not going to say he's not the root of all evil, but Diddy is really bad. And I think that these young artists were exploited in so many ways,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because, Bad Boy, that's all Diddy.
Yeah.
That's all Diddy stuff. And he took advantage of so many people and hurt so many people.
Yeah.
When you think about 50 Cent, he grew up. I mean, how many times was he shot? I can't even remember.
I don't even know.
But he grew up for sure in the streets. Eminem's from Detroit, 8 Mile. So
Mm-hmm.
these folks grew up with like nothing. And I think it's so important that people are supported early in their career like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder what it's like now.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder I have no idea, no way of knowing, but I
Mm-hmm.
just wonder,
Mm-hmm.
you know? You know
Yeah.
what I wonder? I'm going to look this up really quick. Who Kendrick Lamar came up under? Because I know Drake's a problem. I mean, he
Yeah.
has problem written all over him. I'm trying to see who Kendrick Lamar kind of came up under. He's been compared to Tupac and
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z. I don't see immediately where he comes up through, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting that he has such an issue with Drake because I've always had a weird feeling about Drake too.
Right.
Always,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Drake, yeah. Drake's I like some of his songs, but he's
Hmm.
sketchy.
He's catchy, but
I know I
Kendrick
said
Lamar,
sketchy.
oh, sketchy. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar booted him into next week. I mean, that was an Eminem level catastrophe of a
Yes.
takedown.
Yep.
When you do the Super Bowl and you've been threatened with legal action and you look like, hey, Drake, like,
Uh-huh.
oh my gosh,
Uh-huh.
I can't believe he did it. It was fantastic.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
know,
Interesting. I feel like we're gonna find out a lot of stuff in the next couple years about some of this stuff.
I think so too.
I just
And
hope Diddy continues to get pounded with legal stuff. I
well,
hope
and
I hope he just gets exposed for who he is.
I want to know every single thing
Yeah.
he has ever done. I mean, I don't actually want to read it all, but I want him to be held accountable for every single
Same.
thing. I really do. And when I think about that whole gang life, that gang culture, and I love that population so much. I think what people don't understand is this isn't like a bunch of people who got together and just wanted to go nuts on the street and they're all violent and they're all this and that. It's it's family, it's
Yeah.
survival, there's
Yeah.
a lot, loyalty,
Yeah.
and actually a lot of gang members try to keep their younger relatives out of it and
Yeah.
they don't understand the modeling that happens and then they end up in it.
Hmm.
And I know I shared with you one of my favorite clients ever was involved in an officer involved shooting. And
Yeah.
it wasn't even the first time he got shot, but he was one of my
Yeah.
favorite clients ever. And he called me from the hospital.
Right.
And we talked on the phone. I was like, dude, what the hell are you doing? He goes, well, I didn't kill anybody. I'm like, I know, because I looked it up. Because I knew the minute I got a call from a hospital,
Right.
I was like, it's going to be one of two people. And
Yeah.
it was the one I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And boy, did he have a story yet again. And he'll be
Yeah.
in prison the rest of his life
Mm.
because of this
That's
stupid
sad.
thing. And he should be. He should be,
No,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But he got into it
That's
because
the hard part.
his little cousins were down there gang banging downtown and
Mm.
he was in his 40s with kids and he went down there to try to bring his boys home and that's what happened.
Yeah.
So it's just
Yep.
a really entrenched thing. So anyway, it's an interesting case. I hope there can be some justice for Tupac, you know, if it's possible and if they can prove it, I hope he can get some justice.
I hope so too. There's all these cases that we do that are unsolved, and it's sad. Yeah,
Yes.
it's super sad. I
And
do
I
hope
would
we get
say,
justice for a lot of them.
yeah, and I think kind of a final heart piece is if you donate, if you do any of this kind of stuff, look at some of the organizations like Homeboy, Homegirl that
Hmm.
really they have people from the streets
Hmm.
helping get kids out of the streets.
Hmm.
And they keep a lot of peace. Part of the reason these neighborhoods are a bit better than they used to be is there's an awful lot of people who've taken an active role
Hmm.
in diffusing what's happening in the streets. And these are former gang members who get out there and talk to the people that they know and help them get different kinds of jobs and work with them to find a different way.
Yeah,
And that's way better than me and you. Me and you cannot go in there and make a big difference. It's the people who've lived it who can go in there and have influence.
right.
So support those people. If you
Yeah,
listen to
and
hip hop, it might be worth putting some of your dollars towards some of those organizations.
yeah, I
You
could not
know,
agree more.
maybe we'll post some now. We'll vet some and we'll post them.
Okay, it's a good idea. Well, thank you
Well,
for the case, Janine. That was a good one. Obviously,
it's
I
a
mean,
good one.
I love Tupac. I mean, I wasn't like a massive fan when I was little, but I love his like story and who people knew him as. You know, I can't say who he was because I don't know who he was, but like who people knew him
Right.
as. And I just, my heart goes out to that population and his family. And
Well, the other thing that made me laugh is my niece came down and she's wearing a Tupac shirt.
oh my
She's
God.
wearing a Tupac shirt and leggings, and I just died. I was like, "Do you even know who that is?" She goes, "Of course, Auntie." And I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
my bad."
All that
But
music's coming back around too. That's the
and
thing.
everything we wore, everything we did is coming
Everything,
back
all of it.
around.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm
The
kind of here for it though. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if
Jinko
I ever fully
jeans,
left.
all of that. Yeah.
That I could live without. But the rest of it, I'm kind of here for. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah. It's a whole thing.
Well, thanks so much. Thanks to our listeners. And yeah, stay tuned to the socials for some fun updates and all the crime
Yes.
con content in the next couple weeks.
We're so excited. And as always,
Bye, forensic friends. I'm Janine.
and I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.